Hey, how can you not see yourself when you look at everything else? And in this time, it was supposed to start the intro. Welcome, my friend, to the most transformative podcast in the world, the Mastermind Podcast Challenge Season 2 with your host, your doctor, your bebecito of Puerto Rico, your doctor. Oh my God, I will destroy the whole studio. My energy is like all over the place today. Your doctor, Derek Israel, and this is the episode 552. Every Monday through Friday, if you enjoy what we are going to discuss today about self-similarity, well, then join because we are doing personal development, but very deep spiritual personal development every day in this podcast. And I believe is the most transformational podcast in the world. So let's start right now with the subject of today that, hey, this subject, I have been promising this for a long time because in most of my episodes, I always tell you, hey, this thing is a self-similarity, or this other thing, remember, is a self-similarity, but I never have like a very tangible resource to refer you for studying a little bit more profoundly this concept. So that's why I am doing this episode, because I understand and I believe that this is one of those foundational episodes for all of your personal development work. This is one of those ideas and tools that you will be able to apply to business, fitness, economics, your relationships, your paternity, your maternity, your philosophy of life, and it will fit in every dimension because, as you will understand at the end of this podcast, everything is a self similarity. So everything fit with everything else. So by applying this in everything else, you will have good results. It's like a universal principle. You can put everything in this idea of self-similarity. But what is this idea all about? It's a very simple idea. It's a very simple idea. It comes from mathematics and geometry, all right? But I will not go into those realms because honestly, I am not an expert on those realms. And I will bore the hell out of you if I try to explain mathematically everything about a self similarity. What I will do is I will explain the philosophy behind self similar systems and how those self similar systems can be applied to your personal development and your spiritual journey, because that is what we are concerned with in this podcast. Okay, so here's the idea, and then I will present some visuals that is very important for you to see. So if you are only listening to the audio, consider to go to Spotify or YouTube, in which you can watch the video at least to see, at least for seeing these visuals, because you will grasp the concept very quickly if you see the visual. But self-similarity is a system, or the capacity is the capacity of a thing to recreate itself in every dimension of existence. That's it. And you may say, oh, Derek, you told us that it was going to be a simple and an easy thing to understand. Well, it's easy. Don't get confused. Don't get confused with the details. Self-similarity is the ability of a thing to reproduce itself, to make copies, exact copies. And, in mathematics, this is called a strict self-similar system, but we are not going to enter to the complexity of it. Just let's talk about, as as if every self-similar system is strict, in the sense that every self-similar system recreates exactly its essence in every other dimension of existence. So if you look at a self-similar system in, for example, in the whole or the macro of it, the whole thing of it, the universe, for example, the physical universe, you will see its essence. But if then you go into a more kind of a micro scale and you look at that, for example, a planet in that universe, the universe is bigger than the planet. So you look at a more little scale. So you look the planet and you will see that the essence of the universe is also in the planet. And then you say, oh my God, that is so weird. And then you zoom in, and then you look like the continents, or like if you are looking at the earth, for example, you look at all the continents of the planet that you was looking, and you see that all the continents also have the same essence, pattern, code, substance, substratum than the whole universe. And you see, man, that is so weird. And then you continue zooming in, and then you look at the people that is walking in those continents, and you zoom the people, and you understand and you realize that the people that is living in the planet in that universe also have the same essence of the universe. And then you say, my God, this is so unreal. And then you keep pushing with the zoom button, this imaginary zoom button that can go forever, and you go inside those people, and you start to see the cells and the organs of those people inside their body. And you see that in those cells, also those cells have the same essence of the universe. And then you continue zooming in, and you see the atoms that compose those cells, and you see that the atoms is the same of the universe. It's like every atom is a universe. And you can apply that is basically a self-similarity idea. That is a self-similarity idea. That is a context on how this can be. But you can apply this in and this is the thing that will blow your mind. You can understand and apply and actualize this spiritual truth in every area, dimension, or flavor of existence of your entire reality. The big aha moment of this podcast is that the entire reality that we are living right now, existing right now, is a giant self-similar system. And I just want you to breathe that idea, because this is the fundamental idea of the whole podcast. Everything in reality, although it not appear to be like this in the superficial aspect, in the form aspect, everything in the universe in its essence is self-similar. There is, it's not different to say that everything in existence is just one thing or the same thing. Interesting. It is the same to say that everything in existence is non-dual. It doesn't have two things. It only have one thing. It is the same as to say that everything in existence is completely integrous, whole, complete, absolute, total, singular, unus mundicus. Unus mundus is how the alchemists used to refer to this conjunction of existence, this strange loop of existence, this structure, this infrastructure of existence that self mirror each other. Every part of existence self mirror each other. And all of these synonyms, all of these phrases, also we can call this God. You know, all of these phrases is referring to the same phenomenon. And the same phenomenon is that everywhere that you look, guess what? You see yourself. Because you are the ultimate self-similar system. But not you as an ego that have all the social roles that you have, all the ambitions, all the desire, your name, blah, 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 blah. You was born this day, this date, whatever. No, no, no. You as an essence, you as the thing that transcends your ego. And when you transcend your ego, you are what? You are everything. But everything is the same. Because God is the same. God is one. What you are looking right now is a perfect copy of your essence right now. And you may say, "Oh, Derek, thank you. You are a very handsome man. Thanks God that you are part of my essence." Yeah, I am a exact part of your essence. But when you see a dog dead in the street with all the gut of the dog, exploding all over the place, and that is a nasty, horrendous scene, that is also your self-similarity right there. Don't forget. And I want you to bring that horrendous picture because I know that will stay in your mind. I am not saying that only good things are self-similar. I am not saying that the things that you like are self-similar. No, no, no. I'm telling you, everything in existence is self-similar. Now, this is the idea. And you may say, okay, Derek, that sounds kind of cool. It's interesting, but how the hell that is practical? How the hell that is pragmatic? What I will gain with this information? So I will spend the next 30 minutes of this podcast going area per area in important areas of your life: business, emotions, relationships, environment, politics, spirituality, art, all of those areas, explaining a little bit on how this wisdom of self-similarity apply to those areas and how can you do something good about it. So you will have the pragmatical aspect right now. But now, let me share with you my screen and I will show you the visuals, because then you will kind of know and have a more visual representation of what is a self-similarity. So this is the perfect moment, folks. I'm not joking here. This is the perfect moment to watch your screen if you are not doing it already. All right, so I'm sharing my screen right now. And the first thing that I want to present to you, if you go to self-similarity in Google, and this is the thing about, searching self-similarity on Google, the only thing that will appear is only the mathematics aspect of it, the geometrical aspect of it, and maybe a little bit about fractals. But you will not find a lot of spiritual context about self-similarity. So that's why I think this episode is gonna be very important. in the long context and in the long term, because I think that we are innovating a little bit here, trying to bring together different paradigms in one thing that actually can be useful. So what you are seeing here is basically like a fractal. And notice, like, we continue to zoom, and everything that you see, these forms are self-similar. They are exact copies of themselves. So if you go and you stop this movement and you go and zoom in, one of those little inks, those little black inks or whatever, these little forms, you will encounter again this whole figure. So this whole figure is inside every other little figure that you see here, and you can go forever. So this is a very famous triangle also in mathematics. It's a very complicated word. It is called the Sierpinski Triangle. I don't know if I am, pronouncing that well, but notice this is a triangle, right? In the macro perspective of it. But if you zoom in, you see that you have like other triangles here, a little bit bigger, and also you have a little bit more little triangles here. And if you zoom in, I cannot zoom in because obviously this is an image, but this is a representation of something that is the structure of existence. Don't get lost with this image. This is just a representation. But the hypothesis or the theory is that if you zoom in each of these triangles, even those that are very, very little, you will then see the whole triangle again and again and again and again and again forever. This is a self-similar system. Here you can see one that is more based on nature. Like you see this leaf of this plant, and notice that each one of these leaves that basically do this big leaf is also the same leaf. And if you zoom in, then you will see here that it have the same leaf again, but it's self-similar and it can go forever in this example. And the final thing that I want to present to you is a little bit of the fractal. So if you go to YouTube, you can put fractals in the search and you will see a video like this. And sometimes I like to meditate looking at these fractal videos because they remind me how everything is self-similar, how everything is conscious, and how everything is the same. And that makes me more aware, and that makes me more connected to the fundamental aspect of reality. So look at this. So basically what you are seeing here is, it's an art, it's a video about how a self-similar system can be if you are watching one in a real life. So notice that you continue to zoom in this system. And when you continue to zoom in, it is the same thing. It is changing a little bit, right? Because obviously they want to make this interesting, but it is kind of the same figures, kind of the same structure, kind of the same essence, kind of the same copy. And if you are meditating and you are watching the eye of your mind, when you are meditating in the darkness of your soul, you will see this type of images very frequently. Like these images are very, very common. For example, if you are doing active imagination, if you are doing active visualization, if you are having mystical experiences, if you are on altered state of consciousness like psychedelics, if you are doing very profound respirations like pranayamas, and if you are doing very profound yoga, or you are hallucinating, if you are a psychotic patient that is very, very near the structure of existence, you will see and report this kind of stuff. Also, you will see this stuff in your dreams because your dreams are more real than your real life. Like your dreams are, you know, Man, your dreams are a thing. I don't will go there, but your dreams are so connected with the primal existence. So you will see this stuff in your dreams as well. You will see this stuff if you do like very unconscious art that is from the unconscious, that you are not trying to make it very, very, very sane. You will also, create this type of art, this type of self-similar art, because these folks, what you saw there, not exactly that, but this representation, what those images and videos that I presented to you, what those represent is the infrastructure of existence. This is how existence, the whole machine of your reality, the whole machine of consciousness is structured. This is the infrastructure of existence. And now you are kind of understanding why this is so important. And that is why it's so difficult for human beings to understand what is consciousness. Not only in an experiential level, like you trying to decipher what the hell is my consciousness, but in a scientific level, like we as scientists, psychologists, neurologists, psychiatrists, what else, like we have been trying to understand the nature of consciousness for almost 100, well, we have been doing that like forever, but very seriously in our science we have been trying to do that for the last 100 years, and we have almost no progress. Why? Because as quantum physics suggests, the fact that you are looking at a thing change the thing, because the thing that is looking at a thing, it is the same thing as the thing. The object and the subject is the same. The object, you, the scientist, that you are watching a phenomenon, and the object, that is the phenomenon, in this case consciousness, is the same. So it's consciousness looking and studying consciousness. So it's a self-similarity. So that's why we are trying to understand consciousness, but we don't understand ourselves. Therefore, we will never understand consciousness, because for understanding consciousness, first we need to understand everything else in existence, because everything else is a reflection of the same consciousness that you are using to interpret everything else. It's a self-similar system. But materialist scientist, he will never, never, ever, ever, ever agree with this idea. Why? Because this means that science, it is not objective at all. And if we accept, not only as scientists, but also as a community, as a culture that value intellectual development, if we accept that science is not objective, how many business models will fall down? Pharmacy will fall down. Why? Because pharmacies and big pharmaceutics, they are based, on science, on objective science. Also, medicine will kind of break apart. Clinical psychology will break apart. A lot of economical theories will break apart, and maybe the intellectual understanding of the whole world will be on chaos. And after the Enlightenment, that was basically one of the period of the human collective expansion, in which we discarded everything that was unnatural and unpredictable, and we appreciate only that is rational, logic, and measurable. After that, we don't want to live in a world of the mysterious. No, 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 we don't want that anymore. I am not telling that you and I don't want that. I'm telling like the collective consciousness of the world. Like people want certainty. People want security, and science bring that illusory security to existence, because science says, this is what science says: if I can prove it, then it's real. That is what science, if science was a man or a woman, that is what science will say. So you, at least you as a human being, that you are maybe not doing very spiritual work, you are not maybe expanding your consciousness, you at least can say, all right, at least I have a ground in existence. I have science. I have something that reminds me that things can be real, and that things can be coherent, and that things can be predictable. And now I feel more secure in this chaotic, enigmatic, unpredictable, ferocious, and weird world that I am in. And although I don't understand shit about this world and about myself, at least we have science, right? We have science, that science can give us this huge hug, this huge comfort of telling us that everything is okay. But you know what? Everything is not okay, because we don't know nothing about existence. The only thing that we know about existence is that everything is one, and that everything is self-similar. And if you understand that, you will be so paranoid and so fearful that you will not be able to function well on society, unless unless you mature and you go through the spiritual process and you meditate and you do all this thing that I told and that I teach you. Then you will be able to integrate this information on your everyday life without this being a threat for your whole paradigm of existence. So that's why, although this is kind of the structure of existence, almost no one is talking about this. Because it's too dangerous for pharmaceutics, medicine, conventional structures. But hey, you broke the illusion, man. You are here. You are in good hands. You are with a doctor that have been studying this for 10 years now. I know it's not a lot, but it's something. And I know what I'm saying. So let's go and let's discuss how to apply this self-similarity phenomena, or this self-similarity truth to your own life in a practical way. Because what I am been thinking lately about this podcast is that I don't want to be this guy that bring bold subjects here to the podcast and that's it. That is not my role here, guys. I don't want to be only controversial and bring esoteric knowledge through the world. Yes, I want to do that. But I want this esoteric knowledge to actually give fruits in your life, to bring a practical element into your life. So now I will focus my energy in different areas of your life, and how can you apply self-similarity philosophy to that area. For example, in your art, a lot of people that follow me are artists. They are writers, they are movie screeners, they are musicians, they are painters. And that is something that I'm always reminding you, hey, dude, if you want to grow, you need to start making art. This is a mandatory aspect. But then you will ask why? Because art is a self-similar activity. When you are doing art, you are creating a copy of yourself forever. Now, you may put that publicly and you may put that only privately. I don't care about it. That is just the business aspect of art. I'm just referring, when you are doing your thing, notice that you are putting your genetical, spiritual element on every piece, every masterpiece that you create. And then that masterpiece will carry on forever without you, but you will still have an impact in the world through the self-similar mechanisms of your art. That's why art is so healing. Because when you are painting, for example, you are building not a house in the paint, you are building yourself in the paint. Yes, you are representing your inner building as a house in the case that you are painting a house, or you are maybe painting, in the canvas, you may be painting an abstract figure, right? An abstraction, but that abstraction is yourself. That abstraction, if you zoom in that paint that you are doing, you will zoom in and you will see your face in one of the molecules of that paint. You will see your face, and then you will go through your face with that imaginary zoom, and then you will see the colors again of the paint, and then you will see your face again. This podcast is a self-similar resource of Derek Israel. Or do you think that this podcast do not have my spirit here? If you can take an imaginary, machine and zoom in this podcast forever, you will see Derek Israel forever. Because this is my art. I cannot do it differently. Even if you try to fake your art, well, that just means that you're a fake artist. It is a self-similar projection of what you are. You are fake, man. So you do a fake art, right? It is the same principle. If you do a very honest art, well, the art will be honest and also will be yourself. And that is also why you can never basically copy any art. You may take the Mona Lisa and you can do 1,000 replications of the Mona Lisa, and they will never be the Mona Lisa. Why? Because they don't have the Da Vinci Code. Oh, that's cool. The Da Vinci Code. And I'm not referring like the movie. I'm just referring the code as the pattern, as the spirit, as the self-similar element that every art have of his owner or his creator. And you kind of know this. Like if you see a replica of the Mona Lisa, like maybe if it is a kind of a perfect replica, maybe you will not understand kind of intellectually that that is not the actual thing, but in your gut you will feel like something is going on with this piece. Like you will feel in your integrity, because your integrity, folks, is one of the most intelligent systems that we have in our psyche. What make us feel integrous is correct. What make us feel disintegrous is incorrect, and you feel that in your body. And the variable that makes you feel integrity is how strong you feel. So if you feel more stronger when you see a thing, that thing has more truth in it. If you feel more weak when you look or listen or experience a thing, that thing is more false, or is more disintegrous, or is toxic, and you feel a little bit weak because your body reacts to integrity very, very similar as the ear react to harmony when you are listening to music. You know, you like music that produce harmony, and your brain kind of give you dopamine when you listen a music that breaks the harmony patterns. And that is another subject. I will be discussing more about music in the future, how music works. And also I am doing a course right now. I am shooting a course that is releasing next week about integrity, in which I explain you more in detail how integrity can basically inform you about decisions in life, because your body is infinitely intelligent and it communicates through integrity. But that is another subject. So go to my course when I announce that, or go to derekisrael.com/courses, and you will be able to see if already I have it available. So remember, when you are doing your art, you are not just doing a piece, you are doing yourself. is a self-similar mechanism and system. Also, you are self-similar with your emotions. I have a client that he told me, it's a coaching client. He told me, man, this is so painful for me. One of the things that we were discussing, how can I bear this pain? How can I manage this pain? And I told him, dude, you are not managing your pain because you are still separated from your pain. You are seeing your pain as if it is something alien on you, as it is something external that is an enemy. Like if pain slash your emotions are kind of a immigrant that is basically staying in your house, and you don't want that immigrant in your house, right? In this example, or you don't want this outsider in your house. This guy, he entered your house and you are saying, man, why I have this pain here? Why? I don't like this pain. But look, your pain is yourself. Have you ever fucking noticed this? Your suffering, it is not an enemy. It's not a bacteria that is there in your spirit, in your emotional systems. Your suffering is exactly yourself. You are suffering. You are your pain. You are your fear. Your fear, if you zoom in, if you take the emotion of your fear, let's say in this imaginary exercise, and you zoom in to your fear, you will find yourself again. So emotions is not it is not something that is happening to you. Emotions are you. Just try to understand this truth with your gut. Emotions are you. When you say, yes, I am happy, you are not saying am feeling happy. You are saying, I am happy. I am. And when you say, I am happy, you are not saying only, I am happy. You are saying, I am with I amness of the spiritual I am. And what is the spiritual I am? It is I am everything that exists in existence. That is the spiritual I am. The first sound, the first movement, the first vitalistic element in the metaphysical existence. I am. I am happy. I am this emotion. There's no separation. How can we take that emotion of happiness from you? Can we do it? Can you go to a hospital and say to the doctor, hey, I need a surgery, man. I need a surgery. I need you to open my heart and I need you to take out the sadness. Like if it was a tumor, a physical thing. You cannot do that, man. Because it is you. There's no difference between your pain, your happiness, your fear, your confidence, your spirituality. There's no difference between that and you in essence. It is the same thing. You are your pain. You are your suffering. Own it. And this is not a pessimistic view. Oh my God, I am my suffering. I am screwed for life. Oh my God, I'm screwed for life. No, man, no. You are free for life. You are fucking free for life, man. If you understand how self-similar you are to your thoughts, to your emotions, to your actions, to your moods, to your decisions, to your words, if you understand how integrous, how complete, total, autonomous, singular you are, you will be doing just fine. You will be doing just fine. It is the fact that you are separating your stuff. You are separating your existence in so many things. I am this, but I am not this. I am this, but I am not that. That is what makes you suffer most. The solution: become again a self similar system, or recognize that you are a self similar system and you are your emotions. Also, we can understand that we have a self similarity in our relationships, in every relationships. The relationship with your boss. Yes, you are your boss. Yes. Weird, huh? Your relationship with, the mailman, the Amazon guy that is knocking on your door to bring a box of Amazon. He's self similar with you. But let's focus on, romantic relationship, because they are the most common, and also I think that is the most practical. Like, if you are right now in a romantic or intimate relationship, look at your partner. The next time that you can look at her eyes or at his eyes, look at your partner and understand that you are looking to your mirror. You are looking exactly to a self similar system. You are not looking to something that is outside of you. You are both in this wave of consciousness, infinitely connected, infinitely merged, infinitely interrelated, so interrelated, as in Buddhism or Hinduism they say, so interpenetrative, so interpenetrative. How do you say that? It's a difficult word in English. Interpenetrated. Yes, that is the correct word. It sounds crazy, huh? It sounds like very sexual. Interpenetrated. It sounds like a it sounds like a browser's or a porn website title of the best video that they have. Like, see these interpenetrated porn stars. Right. I don't know. But yeah, it sounds weird, but basically what that means is that everything is so joined that everything penetrates itself, and you cannot separate things. You cannot separate your partner from you. And this is beautiful, man, because then you cannot work as if you were together, but finally you can work as you are together, because you are one thing. You are only one thing. And the whole thing about it is not that you need to lose your identity in the relationship. No, conserve your identity, conserve your talents, conserve your value proposition. But understand, in the metaphysical base of them all, you are one thing with that creature that is sleeping with you. One thing with that demon that you have in your house. Yeah, I have a demon in my house. I love that demon, but it's a demon. so so take care of her or him as that, as a demon that is yourself forever and ever. And you are deciding and choosing to be with that part of yourself forever and ever. Although you can, you know, make the decision today of leaving, and if you go and take another partner, another relationship, well, then you are with yourself again through another mirror, through another form, kind of another duality, but in the same substratum, you're same again. So every time that you are making love to your wife or to your husband or to your boyfriend, hey, understand, you are making love to yourself. It is not that there's two people making love in bed. No, 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 no. That is just the micro perspective. That is just the human perspective. From God's perspective, from ultimate consciousness perspective, it is the universe making love with the universe. That is what is happening when you are having love with your wife. It is the universe recreating itself. And that is something that I teach you very deeply in my course, Sexual Mastery. You can look at in the description below. For those of you that wants to make sex in a more stupendous way. Also, there's a self similarity on parenting that I want you to take into consideration, because your son is exactly yourself. It is not similar to yourself. It is not alike. No, no, no. It's yourself. Your son, your daughter is yourself. You understand this? It's self similar. Now, there's a trap here. And this is a trap of the ego. This is a trap of the ego, that your ego may say, I knew it. I knew it, Derek. That's why I'm telling my son what he needs to do, how he needs to run his life, because I knew this before I knew, those self similar what that you are saying. I didn't know those theories, Derek, but I knew that my son, he was me. I knew that my daughter, she was so connected with me that we are the same. I knew this before this theory. And that's why I am directing her life. I am directing the choices of my son. I am directing how he presents himself, what he can dream, because I know better. Because we are one thing, Derek, as because we are one thing, I know better how to run his life. Wait, man, wait. That is a trap of your ego. Yes, your daughter, your son is self-similar systems, as everything is. That doesn't mean that this is an excuse to make the life of your daughter and your son a hell, a living hell. And it's very easy to make a life a living hell of your son and your daughter. It's very easy. Do you know how you can do this? Do you know how can you make a living hell of the life of your sons and daughters? Just run their life and they will live in hell. That's it. And do you know how many people live like this? Hating their parents when they are 30, when they are 40, when their kids is 40 years old, hate their parents because their parents never gave him or her the freedom of being, the freedom of choosing, the freedom of making their own decisions, the freedom of solidifying their own identity. It's very sad. Don't do this trap, man. Don't do this trap. There's the most beautiful thing is just to see, how your daughter and your boy, if you have a boy, I only have a daughter, but I see it with her. The most beautiful thing is to understand how she's completely yourself, but at the same time, completely herself. And because this is a divine paradox that you will find with every truth in existence, including self-similarity, is that every truth encompasses its opposite as truth as well. So everything in reality, and this is a mind blow, everything in reality is self-similar. Yes, but also that means that everything in reality is self-different at the same time. It is happening at the same time. So although everything is a continuum, and by definition, a continuum is something that is the same but with different degrees of beingness, although everything is a continuum, everything is discrete, and everything is a category, and also everything is a autonomous element. So your child, your kid, is completely yourself and completely itself. And if you can not balance those forces, you will make his life a living hell. So the practical advice that I have is, hey, appreciate the self-similarity, but understand and respect and follow and promote and help your child to become himself with his own dreams, perspectives, errors, mistakes, art, business drive, philosophy, sexual orientation, sexual gender, spiritual pursuits, It is only your ego who thinks that you know better than your son. It is only your ego. You don't know better because you already was a product of an old evolutionary process, and your son is a newer evolutionary process. So your son have better variables in his genes than you. Have more mutations, good mutations, probably, if sexual natural selection is going good and right and is supposed to be, purging those bad genes, going for better genes. So therefore, your son is more equipped for living the life than you are. But you think that you know better. Why? Because you have lived a little bit more. Well, that is valid, but that is not an excuse for making your life, your son's life or daughter lives, live in hell. So remember, it's a self-similarity. That means that it's completely different than yourself. Also, you live in a self-similar loop with your environment. Just look around, look the trees, look the birds, look the animals, look the oxygen. Well, you can look the oxygen, but just feel the air, breathe the oxygen, and understand that everything in your environment is yourself. And we're going to discuss this a little bit more in detail tomorrow when I bring the subject about developing an universal ego. That was a thing that I learned with a guru in India, and I will be sharing that tomorrow. But basically, yeah, it's, for me, what is practical about this insight is that before, when I was a kid, I didn't have any consciousness about pollution and about, if I was drinking a water in a glass or in a cup, I just drink it and I just throw it away like that. I used to do it when I was a kid. Like, I didn't care about it. And in my family, they are not very green, so they don't care a lot about the environment. Also, in my culture in Puerto Rico, it's not like they are very advanced in that. Recycling is not like a huge thing there. So that made me a very corrupt human being. I understand that right now. But I used to do that without consciousness. And now I understand, every time that I pollute something, every time that I contaminate every area of my environment, even if I am smoking, or if I am, driving my car, or if I am, whatever, if I am eating, how do you say that, like a mint or something, I split the mint to the floor, or if I am, you know trying to brush my hair, and to put a little bit of spray, every time that I'm doing something that will have an effect on the environment, I understand now that, hey, how can I do this more responsible? Because this blue ball made of water that we can call Earth, this thing is my fucking self. We are one. I came from this stuff, or this stuff came through me, through my consciousness. So I better take care of this thing, because it is the same if I throw this cup here. It's like if I throw a cancerous cell in my eye. Oh, let's take this this cell that have cancer code in it, and let's put it in my eye. Boop. Oh, look. Yeah, I'm developing cancer. That's so good, right? You don't think that, because it's yourself and you want to protect yourself. But then you are not mindful when you take a cup and you throw it away in the street. It is the same. You are taking a cancerous thing and put it there. You are making a bad decision for the whole self-similar system of consciousness. So also remember this truth when you want to kill an insect. And this is something that I'm now struggling, like, and I've told you before. Like, if I see an ant walking over me now, before I used to, like, bam, I kill it and that's it, unconsciously. unconsciously. Now I understand. I killed that ant. I am killing the whole cosmos. For real. For real. If I kill an ant, let me repeat this because this is a spiritual insight that will revolutionize your life if you understand this and if you don't are like that typical, average kind of mind that is oh, Derek Israel is so funny, man. He's saying that if you kill an ant, you explode the cosmos. That guy is he's preposterous. That guy he's a weird crazy guy. Man, if you are thinking like that, let me tell you something. You are the problem in the world. Because to break a flower is to break a black hole. You cannot find in a flower something that you cannot find in yourself. And this is a spiritual, ecological, and social responsibility that you need to commit for now on if you really want to take the spiritual path of you seriously. Because you cannot evolve yourself and destroy the world at the same time. If you grow yourself, you grow the world. If you destroy yourself, you destroy the world. It is proportional and it's a positive correlation. Also, you need to do this, my friend. You need to apply this self similarity aspect on politics. And I have been talking about a little bit of this subject in my episode that you need to watch if you're more interested in politics and how government works in a perspective of spirituality and personal development. And that episode that I discussed this subject, it is called Raising Your Political Consciousness. Please search that episode on my YouTube and Spotify stations, Raising Your Spiritual Consciousness. But hey, it's the same. Your government. You may be on the United States, you may be on Argentina, you may be on Puerto Rico, you may be on China, you may be on Russia, you may be on Ukraine, you may be whatever. Your government is a self-similar system with yourself. Oh, that hurts. It is. It is. And you may say, Derek, but they are so corrupt. They are so irresponsible. They are not like me. They are criminals. Well, if you think that, why then you don't go make a change instead of being criticizing only? Because when you say they are not responsible and you understand that and you don't make anything about it, you don't run for office, you don't go and create your own political party and do things differently or try to change the constitution or try to change to influence the public opinion. If you do nothing with the political status of your country, even if you are in North Korea, you can do something. Like no one can stay on power forever. There's always rebellious acts. There are always rebellion movements that are created of by people that are responsible enough to create a change in areas that they don't like. They don't like how they are running those areas, and they make a change. So if you say that your government is irresponsible and you are not doing anything about it, just criticizing, that makes you similarly irresponsible than your government. Exactly as your government. They are irresponsible and you are responsible as well because government should be the reflection of the people, at least in a democracy. I understand that this is more complex This political environment is more complex. We have constitutions, we have cultures, we have different um, ideologies here, but it's the same in every ideology. It's a self-similar system. That government came from consciousness. That government is not an enemy that is established there and that's it. The government is not a pair of aliens that came from Mars and now they are governing your house or on your town. No, the government is, people that were born in your same country, that were born basically in a very similar circumstances than you. A lot of them, they were rich. Yes, maybe you are poor, but that doesn't mean that you cannot be the president, because there's a lot of presidents that have been poor before. That can be done. You can come out from the bottom and achieve the top of the hierarchy. We can do that. That is possible. That is something that we have been doing for our whole life, and that is called a statement. A statement. Instead of a politician, a statesman, someone that came from the state, that came from the bottom. And if you don't do it, and if you don't help someone to do it, then you are similarly irresponsible with your government. So make sure that you understand what is happening in your government, in the politics of your country, is a self-similarity of your spirit. And that is a hard truth to swallow. We don't like it. We prefer to demonize the politician. We prefer to say bad things about them because that is our ego, and that is what our ego do. Talk shit. But your ego doesn't want to become committed to the change, right? Your ego doesn't want to make that a priority on your life, right? Right? Exactly as the politician doesn't want to make you the priority of his life. He wants to make his own bank account the priority of his life, exactly as you, that you are criticizing him, but you are making your own bank account the priority of your life, and that's why you are not running on politics and you are running your business. Just notice the self-similarity here. Notice how, for example, the politician is making bad decisions on policy, maybe on tax policy or financial policies of the nations, and you don't want to pay taxes, or you are making a little bit of witchcraft with your taxman or taxwoman or your accountant. You are making witchcraft in order to pay less. Well, you are doing the same as the governor that wants also to steal money from you. You are both stealing money from each other. You are self-similar systems. Look. And you say, yes, but I am doing just a couple of pennies. He's doing billions of dollars. It's the same. It's a different scale of magnitude of money, but it's the same corrupt mindset. It's a self-similarity of hypocrisy. It's a self-similarity of mediocrity in both you as a citizen and him as a government agent. Is a self-similar system. Ew. This is a tough one, but it's a spiritual one. It's a spiritual one. Now, also, we have self-similarity on business. And I think that is self-explanatory. Everything that you do in your business is a reflection of yourself. How you sell, how you promote, how you merchandise, the products that you design, the services, the human resources, how you treat your employees, how you find and retain talent, the branding, the logo, the voice, the brand communication. Everything is a self-similarity. Just notice, businesses are people. When we think about Nike, we think about the logo Nike. No, we need to think about the people that is running Nike. They are just people. And Nike is a self-similar reflection of the values of those people. If we think about McDonald's, we think about the M, the yellow M, or the hamburger, blah, blah, blah. No, no. McDonald's is not that. That is just art. That is the art of McDonald's. Do you know what is McDonald's? McDonald's is a group of people that is sitting around in a table right now discussing stuff about the business. And then you eat a fry of McDonald's and you say, oh my God, this is McDonald's. No, McDonald's is the people that is out, out of the product. You cannot see them in the product, you cannot see them in the service, but they are inside the product, inside that service, because those same people are the one that said, okay, so we are gonna put only 5% of salt in our fries. So we, back in the day, we were doing like a 10% of the salt in every session. Now we are trying to be more healthy. So we are going to only put 5% of salt in our fries. And then you are eating the fries and you say, oh, this is McDonald's, the fries. Yes, but that fry is contaminated infinitely by self-similar elements of the decisions, the corporative and commercial decision made by people that made that specific and singular and particular type of fry with a particular type of process, with a particular type of quantity of salt in your mouth right now. Those, notice how from the decision, from the idea to the fry in your mouth, there is only a process of self-similarity, fractal kind of thing, a continuum of self-similarity. And that is happening in every dimension of business. I want you to understand, how do you feel with a certain business is exactly how you will feel with the owner of that business if you are talking to him. I will tell you a story. I know that probably the people, the owner, and the more directive committee of this business that is called, is a how do you call this, insurance, is an insurance company, Progressive. It's a very famous insurance company in United States, Progressive. And I know by my experience with them, because here in the United States, it's a mandatory thing that you need to have insurance in your car. So we put insurance in our car, and what we find with them, with insurance, and then we cancel them because we move on with another company. So we didn't like the service. Like, they always were charging us when we needed the service. So why the hell I will, when we were doing assistant in the street, like when we were with our car broke, we called them. They are supposed to pick us up and not charge us anything, because we are paying a monthly or a 6-month subscription of that, and that is included. But they charge us anyway a lot. And I'm like, why the hell then why the hell I will be paying to you every 6 months if when I need you, I also need to pay to you? So that doesn't make any sense. It's like you're paying Netflix every month, but every time that you need to see a movie, you need to pay again. It's like, that doesn't make any sense. So I told my wife, hey, let's go to another insurance that is better, and let's try another one. But then we canceled them with a phone call, and also we called them twice, and we sent an email. So we did everything that we were supposed to do to cancel the subscription, and we went with another insurance. 6 months later, they charge us again, almost $700, as if we were still their clients. And we called them again, and we say, hey man, what the hell you are doing? Like, we canceled you. Why are you charging me again? You suck. And they were like, oh yes, this happened a lot. I am pretty sure, folks, I'm pretty sure that Progressive is corrupt as hell. I noticed the vibe there, man. And they do this. If you don't are very, very observant and alert with your finances, they will continuously, and they are not the only business that do this. This is a technique, as a very fraudulent technique that a lot of subscription-based models are doing right now. You get subscribed and then you cancel, but they continue to charge you, because if you don't check your bank statement, you will never notice that they continuously charge you and remove the money from your bank. So I am pretty sure that these people do that on purpose. I am pretty sure, because I then Google, hey, Progressive is still charging me after cancellation, and I saw so many testimonies of so many people with the same problem, and we concluded that this is a business strategy. It's a fraudulent and corrupt business strategy that these folks have in their insurance company. And I'm pretty sure that this is a self-similar trait of the owner of that company. And I'm pretty sure that if I am taking a beer, I don't drink, but if I'm taking a beer with that guy in a bar, I will be drinking with him, and maybe I don't know that he's the owner of Progressive, but I will feel that he wants to steal something from me. I will feel that he's a very corrupt man or woman. I will feel that vibe. Why? Because his business reflect that shit. Because your business is a reflection, it's a self-similarity of the owner, and not only the owner, of everyone that works there. It's a self-reflection of the culture, the organizational culture. So if you have a very toxic organizational culture, well, the experience with you will be very toxic. And probably your relationships are toxic, your paternity are toxic, your sex is toxic. Everything about yourself is toxic, because everything is a self-similar pattern, fractal pattern. So yeah, that is my experience with one of those business, and maybe illustrate this point. And the final point that I want to make before moving on forward is, there exists a self-similarity as well in spirituality. That's why I don't care to what road you go to, in order to find enlightenment, in order to find infinite compassion, in order to find salvation, nirvana, whatever you want to call them. Because every road, every religion, every spiritual path, every spiritual paradigm is the same. Is the same. It's a self-similar thing. Every paradigm is a self-similar stuff from God. So if you take Buddhism and you really study Buddhism, you are really studying God. You are not studying a fake thing. You are not studying a demonic thing. No, that is only the Christians and the Muslims who thinks that. Why? Because they want you to come to their own system, that it is actually correct. It is self-similar with God. But the only thing is that they haven't expanded their consciousness in a way that will understand that everything is part of God. They want a reduced and a partial God, because they have economical and social and political interest, not only spiritual and religious interest, behind their discourse and behind their narrative. But if you are more broad and more aware, you will understand that, hey, each one of the dimensions of spirituality is the same. Is the same. So you can start by being a Muslim and you will reach God, no problem. But if you want to jump from being a Muslim and go to a Hindu, no problem. You will arrive in the same place. And then if you are tired of being a Hindu and you want to become a Christian, no problem. You will find God there. You will find God everywhere. You will find God in this glass. You will find God in this yellow stuff here. You will find God in the blue hair of Derek Israel. Can you see God here? Hey, let me take a let me can I ah I just want to take one hair of mine. Just one hair. Let me see. I can do this. Can you see this hair? I don't know if you're able to see it in my. I have one blue hair. Ah, it's very difficult to see. But I want you to look at this blue hair if you can see it. Maybe let me see. I can put a little bit of so difficult to see. But in this hair that I have here, that you probably don't see, this hair is God. Look, this hair is God. This hair, this hair have the exact same power of God that Christianity have. That's funny. And that Muslims have. And that, I don't know, magicians, alchemists, occult people have. New Age people have. Jungian people have. I don't care. Everything is self-similar. I have God in my hair. Also, I have God in my heart. And I have God in my sex, in my orgasm. Do you think that that is not God? Then what is God then? You know. So in spirituality, also is an infinite self-similar system that go back to yourself. So there's a difference between understanding self-similarity and being or actualizing self-similarity. It's a big difference. Understanding is what you did here. You now have the idea. But what is actualizing it? Well, to practice this idea in every of your areas, to be aware that is self-similar, to be conscious of this thing, to meditate about it, to do yoga on this self-similarity thing, to do your pranayamas, your incantations, your mantras, everything that you do for spiritual evolution, do it with this framework, and you will be actualizing this truth in your life, and you will be becoming everything because you are everything. So remember, it's not about only knowing the idea, it's about actualizing this truth. And that is your direct challenge in this Mastermind Podcast Challenge, Season 2, Episode 552. This was your Dr. Derek Israel. Please make a comment, download, make a comment down below, sharing your thoughts about this podcast, sharing your thoughts about this episode, and just sharing your thoughts, man. I want to know you. I want you to know what you think. I will be answering back. Also share this in your social media. That helps a lot. Remember that you can support us on Patreon. Basically, with only $5 per month, you can donate that, and we can continue providing value and transformational content to 1,000 people around the world for free. And you also receive, if you become a Patreon supporter, exclusive content on the platform. So hey, check that out. The link is in the description, and you will help us a lot. Also join, if you are doing this challenge, if you are really doing this stuff, if you are really serious with this work, join our chat. It's completely free. It's on Telegram, and we are doing further work there. We are doing further work there in that group. So join us if you want to continue with better communication with a community that like and value personal development. Also remember that I'm about to launch my book, Terapia con Derek, very soon. So as soon as I announce the book launch, Therapy with Derek, please grab your copy. Also, I will be launching, I think today, the Life Purpose course, English edition, first time ever, with a huge discount, almost like a 75% discount. So, be alert on my social media, check them out to go with the link. If not, tomorrow I will present the link here in the podcast. And finally, go to derekisrael.com. There you can find my store. You can find, the books. You can find the courses. You can find the consulting, the coaching with me. If you want one-on-one, you can find everything there. So visit derekisrael.com, and remember that you have only one priority in your life from now on, and that is to actualize the fact that you are infinitely self